Hey y'all, I am here with Adam at Stargazing Astrology, and we're going to talk about 2024 and his astrological predictions. So I'm so excited. Welcome, Adam.
Thanks for having me on. It's been a while. It's been about a year and a half.
I know, I missed you so
Mhm.
much. I
Yeah.
loved connecting with you the last time, so I was so happy that we could do this
Yeah.
again. So, what do you have for us for this
Oh.
year?
Hey, yeah, it's great to be on. So first off, really quickly, everyone, I'm offering discounted astrological readings. If
Cool.
anyone may be interested, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Adam State Stargazing Astrology, for updates. And then my email address is adamastro. That's ADAMASTRO 777 at gmail.com for any astrological inquiries. I do birth charts if you're at any sort of crossroads in your life, or if you need predictions on the future, predictions on the past, astrologically speaking, I am the person to come to.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. All
Okay.
right.
So there is definitely some really interesting stuff in store for us. This year is gonna be like a real strong key link between last year and the year to come, so to speak. Meaning, in like 5 or 10 years, we're gonna see um, the like not so much differentiation. Um, that being said, this year starts off with a bang and a half. On January 1st, the planet Mercury, which represents communications and the internet, phones, planes, that went direct. So right now is definitely a time for open communication. I remember, Amy, the end of December, we were trying to connect, and then you had some internet issues. That was still when Mercury was in retrograde. So when it's in that retrograde position, it can be hard to have clear communication.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a wonderful thing as far as the energy moving forward in this January of 2024. This January is characterized by some really strong Capricorn energy. Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn is structure, it's focus, it's discipline, it's ambition, it's hard work as well. The planet Mars went into Capricorn on January 4th. Mars in Capricorn is ambitious. So the key word for this month is energy, focus, determination, and ambition. And when we are very organized, as represented by one of the positive traits of Capricorn, we will be able to move forward in life.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah. So a huge aspect is going to be happening January 20th. In January 20th, Pluto, the planet of power and the power structures, it's going to be going into the astrological sign of Aquarius. So that being said, this is huge. Pluto in Aquarius, we are going to see more and more the power structures going more into humanity, technology, new wave thinking, evolution. Aquarius also rules gender neutral things. So we're going to see more gender neutral bathrooms. Things like, more like trans folk, things like that. Not such a differentiation between the male and the female. And this energy doesn't come without a bang. Right now we are seeing the last minutes of Capricorn, which rules the patriarchy. So we are seeing these Donald Trump, Giuliani type figures. We're seeing their junk just spilling over the edges.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is so wild.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the majority of this year, Pluto will be going into that Aquarian energy. Aquarius is also ruled by the planet Uranus, which is about revolution, has to do with the masses, gathering people. So we may see things like protests, against things that may seem unfair. Aquarius really also rules breaking traditions that were put up by those Capricorn structures. So we're going to see a lot of these traditional roles come tumbling down. And when things come tumbling down, it's nasty and it's dirty and it's chaotic, but it's really all part of the Pluto moving into Aquarius, that power shifting to another
Wow,
sign.
that's wild. I mean, I think we're already feeling that. Don't you feel that already a little bit?
We've been feeling the last degrees of Pluto and Aquarius for at least a year. Pluto is the slowest moving planet.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
esoteric astrology, Pluto is actually representative of the soul. So this is sort of like the soul of humanity right now.
Okay. So we're not moving into Pluto in January with Aquarius?
Yes, we are. Pluto
Okay.
is moving into Aquarius. But what happens is they go in these retrograde positions where
Oh, I see. I see. I see. Okay,
they go
gotcha.
stationary, and then they have this illusion of actually turning retrograde. And whenever they turn retrograde, we have to review. It's like 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps
Okay.
forward, 1 step back, that type of thing. So January 20th, we're going to be going into the moving forward. This is really bad for people like Donald Trump, people who are in those patriarchal roles. They're just gonna they're the position of power, evolutionary and astrologically speaking, is shifting. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't fight against it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Aquarius is all like about like higher learning, higher knowledge. It's like, the shift in consciousness. So it's like, it's absolutely, yeah, it's definitely going to be
Mm-hmm.
shifting how everyone sees everything.
Yeah, yeah,
you know, breaking through
yeah.
the illusions, I guess, of like you're saying, the traditional, yeah, the traditional roles, patterns, programs that we're used to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So this
Wow.
this is huge as far as people gathering together for a common cause, which is very Aquarian. So a week later, on January 27th, the planet Uranus, which is ruled by Aquarius, meaning they share a lot of similar traits, is going to be going in direct motion. So Uranus has been in that retrograde position. When it goes direct, we are going to see that Aquarian energy. It's going to be like a double whammy. This could be things like AI, CRISPR technology, new and inventive, sort of genius types of things coming up. Humanity needs to watch out with this aspect that we don't let something like technology like take over too much. But Uranus is very technological. It's also very humanitarian. It's all about thinking outside of the box. All these things that are very like anti like Republican, anti tradition. So this is good as far as pushing that energy forward and a forward movement.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. February into March is gonna play a bit of a different tone. End of February, the sun sign goes into Pisces. The energy is more watery. Generally, it's a little more toned down, a little softer. So the North Node, which is our evolutionary direction of progression, it's going to be sitting right next to Chiron. Chiron's the wounded healer. This is an excellent time for healing and personal growth, reconciling conflicts, between family members, between yourself, between ex-lovers, between whoever, in order to kind of move on and grow past those. So this will be, astrologically speaking, for the first 6 months. This is definitely the most introverted type of time as far as healing and stuff like that. Right now, that February energy into March, not a good time to push, push, push. Um, the push, push, push will come in April.
Okay.
Yeah. And in April, we can expect that planet Uranus again gone direct, sitting next to Jupiter. It's going to blow up that Uranian energy even more, push those Aquarian ideals even farther, expand those Aquarian ideals even more. This is a fun social time, new innovative ideas, spot on hunches, a time of genius, perhaps new technology, new wave thinking. This is definitely a big time for forward movement and for forward growth. So
Wow.
what's going to happen with this is that there's going to be a backlash in June. And the backlash is the planet Saturn, which is the traditional structures, is going to be going in retrograde position. All of those individuals that are so traditional, that have taken away um, what is it, like women's reproductive rights, gay rights, whatever, all those individuals that are all about the traditions when Saturn goes retrograde, they're going to get a wake up call. They're going to be hit this way and this way and this way and this way, because a lot of those traditions are going to be outdated and checked and outdone in that Saturn retrograde period. They're going to be reviewed and they're going to be discarded. So
yeah, it just feels like, honestly, like there's no more energy to support it anymore. Like it just feels like it just like falls through. You know what I mean? Like it's like, why do we, it's a why do we care energy. Like that's the energy I feel.
Well, yeah, well, there's so much forward momentum the first couple months,
yeah,
that once Saturn turns retrograde in June, reviewing those structures, a lot is just going to be discarded and just no longer useful.
Yeah, it brings up like an interesting thought, because aliens have kind of moved to like the forefront, and if you think of an alien, it's gender neutral typically, and so it's kind of interesting because when you're talking about this gender neutral ideals that are shifting, that could be the catalyst right now for that.
It's definitely is an expression of it, for sure. Yeah. It really is. So this is just the time where Saturn, Jupiter and Saturn rule the social position. This is a real time where it just doesn't look good for like a Trump type, So one of the last aspects is the planet Pluto. This whole time it's been into Aquarius. It's going for its final last retrograde motion into the last minutes of Capricorn, early September to mid-October, about a month before the election. So this is the final nastiness, final. So we can expect the month of September for there perhaps to be some really nasty stuff that comes up. But just understanding that it's for like a final purge, in that, yeah, in that Pluto will, in that beginning October 12th, for the next 20 plus years, Pluto will be in Aquarius, never going back to Capricorn for hundreds of years.
Wow, hundreds of years.
Yeah. So this is the only, and this is going to be the end of Pluto and Capricorn for our lifetimes and for our kids' lifetimes and probably their kids' lifetimes.
It's like a total shakeup.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily their kids, but our lifetimes and probably our kids' lifetimes.
Wow. That is wild. Wow. That's pretty amazing. So is that it for the astrology for the year?
Yeah, so those are the highlighting aspects. We can expect to really move forward. That big surge of excitement, new AI, new adventure. Yeah, this was like approximately like the first 6 months. And then that big retrograde motion before the election. This really characterizes like the first 6 months, and also the introduction into that Pluto into Aquarius.
I'm excited because I feel a positive shift from these energies, from the shakeup energies. Do you feel that as well?
Yeah, it's really, I mean, Aquarius is all about forward momentum. Aquarius is very cutting edge. It's totally like, so Capricorn is so traditional. I think of like Reaganomics, like trickle down economics, where like the old white man, had his harem of women around him, and he got to be like the top dog, that traditional patriarch thing, he got to, and that, I mean, that's an old world that's dying.
And it is, I think a lot of it is through exposing it more, or because it feels like it's coming to the forefront, you know what I mean, now, whereas it wasn't as much in the forefront as it is now.
It wasn't. And part of why that's happening is because the last degrees of something, especially like Pluto, it brings it up. Really, it's about power, but it's also about transformation, and it's also about purge.
So, it's an ideology that's outdated, it's just, it did at one time mean power, at a certain, probably back at, during the Roman Empire, but like we're kind of, it's like, we're kind of have to evolve at some point.
Yeah. Well, the thing is though, is Pluto still means power. It's just
Yeah.
that it's going to be going into Aquarius, which is power to humanity, power to groups, rather than
Right.
power to the patriarch, which is Pluto.
Yeah, a collective power. Like, we can
Yeah.
all work together and create this energy together, a
Yeah.
higher vibration of energy that brings in more of that abundance, prosperity together. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's Pluto and Aquarius.
And that's the ideology that's shifting to a higher
Mhm.
consciousness. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I love
Yeah.
that because I feel like your astrology matched a lot of my predictions for 2024, and it makes sense
Okay.
now with the planets and everything,
Mhm.
exactly what I was feeling. It just feels like a transcendence of this old, outdated way of thinking. So it's
Mhm.
really interesting.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wow. Well, awesome. Well, I really appreciate that. Did you have anything else you wanted to share today in regards to any other
Yeah.
tips or tidbits?
Yeah. So things are looking. So I just want to read a couple of Biden's transits. So those
Oh, interesting.
yeah. So these, I have some short-term transits and some long-term transits. The short-term are like what's happening like now. The long-term can characterize the next like 3 to 6 months, maybe even up to like 9 months. Some of these. Um, First off, though, just a quick rundown on Biden's astrological chart. He has a very karmic chart. He has some of these aspects that literally look like completely like divinely mapped out. And we know he's had a lot of things happen in his life that have caused very transformational events, like, the death of his wife, the death of his son. Um, as characterized by a lot of these Venus square aspects in his chart. Venus represents the relationship, squares represent the challenges. He has a ton of Scorpio. What were you gonna say?
So, in terms of the karma, is it a swing karma? Is it a karmic return? Like, could it be positive or negative? Does it matter? How does that show up? Is it, you're saying
It's
it's in the challenge or?
so what I see here. So as far as karma, the astrological fourth, eighth, and 12th houses, if they're heavily influenced in the chart, that has a lot to do with karma. The planet Scorpio is very karmic. There are certain signs and houses and configurations that are more karmic
Hmm,
than
that's
others.
interesting. Wow. What a year for that to come in, too.
Yeah, yeah. So Biden's natal chart or his birth chart, he has a strong 12th house, which is considered a house of self-undoing or a house of ending. So this is someone who is sort of tying up. I almost see Biden as being president. He's tying up this huge legacy that could have been going on this lifetime and perhaps other lifetimes. The reason
Hmm.
why I say legacy is because he has a lot in Scorpio. Scorpio rules legacies. Um, also,
Also, secrets, right?
also
And
secrets.
yeah. Uh huh.
Mhm. And the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they navigate in that energy very well, like, because that's where they reside. So they can
Mhm.
get through,
Mhm.
yeah. So they know that space well as well. So that's interesting. Just
Mhm.
because you're saying it's bringing in the ending of a huge chapter and all this stuff is like, coming out to the forefront in the news and media and everything like that. So it's an interesting
Mhm. And
dynamic.
and what makes this even more interesting is that his birth star in Vedic astrology is Ashwini, and Ashwini is the first sign in the Vedic zodiac, and it's all about ushering in a new age and ushering in a new beginning. So this makes complete sense. He's ushering in the age of Aquarius. He's ushering in Pluto and Aquarius, and
Yeah, that
he
is
even
so.
said that I'm like the channel for this.
Yeah, because like it feels like you would have. Yeah, that's what I'm saying with the zodiac sign. I think it feels like it's just it's aligned for that purpose. Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
with what he. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whereas Trump is like, I'm top dog, everyone bow down to me. Biden's like, I'm the channel, things are going to be coming through me, and I'm going to be of service to humanity by being that channel.
Wow, that is so wild.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that feels positive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's also someone not to be underestimated. I know everyone goes Biden's old, Biden's senile, Biden's this, Biden's that. Biden's got a ton of Scorpio. Don't underestimate Scorpio. Scorpio
That's what
is
I mean. Like that's the one component that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you don't, yeah, because that's their star power, right? In that
yeah.
energy. So yeah,
He has Sun, Mercury, Mars, Venus, all in Scorpio.
wow, that is interesting.
Or yeah, Sun, Scorpio, all 12th house, the house of karma. He has his North Node, which is evolutionary direction. His North Node is in Leo. His South Node is in Aquarius. The South Node is what you have under your belt. He has a natural affinity to give to humanity. But the North Node in Leo actually is like take those Aquarian gifts of altruism and learn to step up and be the center stage, right? Take those Aquarian gifts and give to humanity, but you're going to need to learn to be more Leo. You're going to need to learn to own the center stage, to own your power, right? To
North
so
Node in Leo is destiny. Like that's destiny of a very high standing. If I mean, if you have Leo North Node, that's you
yeah,
have a very huge purpose.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Leo's big. Leo's center stage, and it's not easy for a North Node in Leo to do this because the North Node is our area in which we grow, but growing pains, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
His
Because that's what are you working on that? Isn't that North Node is what you're working on too in this lifetime, right? Isn't it? Or is that
yeah,
one of your gifts?
the South Node is your innate gifts.
Okay.
That's your easy zone. The North Node it forces
It's
forward
forcing
move.
you into that. Yeah. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is so wild.
Yeah, yeah.
I
He
love
has,
hearing about the birth charts. Do you have anybody else's birth chart?
mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a bunch.
Okay.
Um, so that's like kind of Biden in a nutshell. Just really quick, his transits. He's got the short term. He's got a lot of trine aspects. So he's just trine aspect. The energy moves much more smoothly. So these next, this is a real smooth period. Smooth, I mean, as smooth as you can be for a president, right? His long term transits, he has a lot of ideals, very charitable ideals. He has a Saturn square. This one's a little harder because Saturn is all about karma and it's all about restrictions. So there's going to be some restrictions that are going to be opposed upon him that he's challenges. He's just going to have to work with those restrictions, things he's not going to want to have, but he's going to have to work with. Um, so those restrictions are going to be the most challenging thing for him.
Okay.
Yeah. And
All
then
right.
what's interesting is someone like Biden and Giuliani, they have Gemini, Uranus, they have like some very similar aspects. Giuliani has a Leo moon. Trump has a Leo rising. They're both Gemini sun signs, sun next to Uranus. So they're both very unpredictable, with that Gemini energy. Giuliani has a strong 8th house sun sign, showing that his ego is going to be stripped away. Things are going to get taken away from him. The 8th house is very karmic. Trump having that 10th house, Trump has a little more leeway with things, right? Giuliani, astrologically speaking, what I see is going to have things a little harder. Things are going to be more challenging for him, but yet there's the opportunity for a quicker evolution, a quicker learning. I see Trump is slowly kind of sinking into this net. There's a lot of delusion, but it's going to take a lot longer for Trump, evolutionary speaking, to be able to reconcile his bad behavior.
That's so interesting because I have felt a shift in the divine masculines like really strongly where it feels like they're evolving very quickly right now. Like they're kind of like getting it pretty quickly. So it's interesting that you picked that up or one of the charts because I've
Mm-hmm.
been feeling that energy where there's going to be like it's like they were missing information and all of a sudden they're just like, oh, I get it. Like then they're just like, okay. And then they just kind of evolve. Like it's just like, oh, all right, move in new direction now. Like that's the energy I feel for this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's gonna be that partially is that Pluto and Capricorn being outdated.
Yeah.
The just and it's all the Pluto is just all about the power dynamics, and when the power is no longer there, it just like
Yeah, it fades away. It's like, oh, why did I care? Like
Yeah.
that's the energy. It's a transcendence energy, and there's
Hmm.
nothing there to support the energy. All of a sudden, something that might have mattered no longer matters anymore because they just see through it and nothing supports the energy. So then they just shift direction. That's what it feels like. Yeah, it's like a
Hmm.
transcendence energy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So that's gonna come. That's basically that energy is pretty much like the new norm, and it's
Yeah,
almost. And I feel like there may be some surprise with that this year, but into next year, I feel like it's just gonna be like a given.
yeah. Wow, that is so powerful, and it feels like very aligned to a lot of what I've already kind of been feeling and picking up as well. So,
Yeah, yeah. So definitely a lot to look forward to. Um, Astrologically speaking, there is almost like very little to no chance that Trump can win. It just it doesn't Trump winning doesn't support what's going to be going on astrologically wise, which has I believe as an astrologer has the upper hand.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's good. It doesn't really look great for him. I'm not sure exactly what's gonna happen with him. I don't really know. I haven't picked that up yet. Um, but the chances for the presidency slim to none.
Yeah, it just feels like, it's I don't know, it's definitely gonna be an interesting year because it doesn't feel very predictable, the year, like, in a sense, like, I don't really feel like
Well,
it's
you're
because the energies are so light, I feel like it's very, like, flux energy, like, it's, like, not non-predictable energy in a way, you know what I mean?
what it is astrologically speaking. Those Uranian energies are gonna come into play. So it's a year for a lot of forward movement.
Mhm. Yeah, mhm.
There's gonna like last year was really mucky. I felt this year we're gonna have muck, not as much, but more forward movement.
Mhm. That feels so good when you say that forward
Yeah,
movement.
yeah.
I
And
just want
come June, there's gonna be some knocks on the heads for those who are really just have their head up their butt.
Yeah, and I think that's kinda like what I'm feeling because it feels like an unpredictable energy because of all of the other things that could possibly be coming in that we don't know about yet,
Yeah,
that are
yeah,
kinda kicking up. Yeah, so
yeah.
it's kinda like
Uranus going in that forward direction. That movement is unpredictability, and then when it's
mhm.
sitting next to Jupiter, Jupiter expands that Uranian energy, making it more unpredictable.
Yeah. Okay, that
That
makes sense.
that's also too that your Uranus going direct with Jupiter. Uranus can rule things like catastrophes, earthquakes, things like that. So I'm sure those will happen this year too. I mean, they kind of happen almost every year, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate all of your information, Adam. That is so helpful. And
Yeah, thanks for being on.
yeah, it feels it's like unpredictable, like you said. It's like uncertain, but there is a positivity to the energy coming through.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a strong forward movement, which is yeah. I mean, it's and because Uranus is with Jupiter, Jupiter rules faith and belief system. So the faith and the belief system is really going to be geared towards that forward movement as well, with
Oh,
that Uranus Jupiter aspect coming in April. It's like there's going to be a lot of collective faith and belief behind moving forward. It's like going to gather more collective
momentum in a
support.
way. Yeah.
Huh?
Momentum.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Jupiter stands for our belief system and our faith. And that's so huge with us, right? Like where do our beliefs lie? Where does our faith lie? I mean, that's huge.
I believe that because there's just so much more people talking faith-based, and about experiences all around. I mean, just everything that they have had, their personal journeys. A lot of people have they just keep talking about near-death experiences, the connection to these ascended beings. It just seems like it's building. Yeah, it's building in that category.
Yeah, yeah. This is also going to expand to the metaphysical because Uranus is it's outside of the bounds of Saturn. So Uranus is Uranus, Neptune, those are very like transpersonal, very metaphysical planets as well.
Wow. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. And on that note, I keep seeing the green jade coming through.
Ooh.
So maybe this is a prosperity abundance type stone, but it also feels stable, and it feels like it's also ushering in like a green energy, which could be aligned more to like Mother Gaia, more harmony, balance.
Healing. Mm-hmm.
Healing, yeah, grounding energy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I keep seeing as you're talking about 2024. So that could be definitely a crystal that could be helpful for this year, getting us
Mm-hmm.
through the year and
Mm-hmm.
ushering in those energies. So
That's actually a good color too, because what we need to watch out with that Uranian energy is being like too enmeshed in the technology and too in our head and not enough in the earth.
right, yeah, absolutely. Just trying to, so it's like getting through the unpredictable energies, having more of that, maybe a crystal or something like that harnesses your energy more, working more with trees or energies that are more stable and grounding, kind of a thing, to keep moving the energies forward.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I love that, Adam. Well, definitely be sure to check out his website, guys, and check out all of his readings. I'm thinking of getting one myself and getting my chart done. But thanks again for coming on my channel. I love having you on, and hopefully this is going to be an amazing year ahead, okay?
Yes. Most definitely. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Thanks
Okay.
for tuning in, and we will talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.